What's going on, guys? rBangerz here. Those who have been in a coma, what was it like? When I was in the 5th grade, I fell out of a tree and bonked my head pretty well. I woke up maybe 3 days later in the hospital. For me, the experience is easily summarized in 3 parts. 1. When I fell, I blacked out before I hit the ground, or at least that is where my memory fades. Okay, see, that really scares me. I've never fainted or blacked out before, and I never want to, because the idea of just magically being somewhere and then opening your eyes and you're completely somewhere else surrounded by people you have no idea, the thought of that creeps me out. And fades is really the best word. It was as if my consciousness was drained away into blackness and nothingness. It was as if my body knew how badly it was going to hurt, and so it shut down. I have very, very, very vague memories while in the coma of hearing my dad reading a book, or my mom telling me that she knew I had to pull through, or of a tube in my nose. But these were always super fuzzy moments, and I never was conscious during them. It was more like a half second of being aware of one particular thing. The way the tube felt being taped against my arm, and wishing I could reach out and move it, and then back into nothingness. Oh yes, oh man, That's weird, because I always wondered if people who were in comas were actually aware of things happening around them and they could actually feel what was happening. Because I've watched so many movies and read so many stories, obviously fictional, where some horrible things were said, or something revealing about a family was said, someone in a coma, and then all of a sudden they woke up and they just knew and just ripped the family apart. I've always wondered if that was actually a thing, but alright, I'll get back to it. I think that I was somewhat aware of the fact that I was a little more aware each time that this happened, but honestly I'm not certain of even that much. 3. Waking up was sudden. So sudden. I was in blackness. Had a moment of awareness, my neck hurts, and then the pain was magnitudes higher. No longer a distant perception, but something that I was actively conscious of. Waking up was the most painful moment of my life, and I just started crying, and then couldn't even cry, it hurt so bad. I think that I had more to do with the injury sustained to my neck and head than the coma, but that is what it was like. After an hour, my body was used to the pain, and I was totally normal, albeit very weak, hungry, and thirsty. I survived and I'm fine now without any lasting issues. In 2006, I was in a coma from March 31st to May 5th. Damn, so you were in a coma for over a month. Then half awake for another month after that. Oh my gosh, okay. It was the longest, scariest dream of my life. I was medically induced by a fentanyl drip for about a week at first, and let me tell you, fentanyl is a demon. Wacky dreams about fighting corrupt hospital officials, so my brain knew where I was. Ooh, wow, okay, yeah. That's sketch. They didn't think I'd ever talk or walk again, but in the hospital bed I laughed at an episode of That 70s Show, and inclined every day after, putting me about 85% health overall these days, but pretty much an average guy. Oh, it was a head injury. Had a seizure in the bathroom that made me fall into the sink. Okay, just leave that part to the end. Oh my gosh. So, okay, let me just make sure I understand this before I go forward. So, you had a seizure, and then you fell onto the sink. So I'm assuming you pretty much hit your head. Damn, dude, oh fuck. Similar experience, drip and all, but I had Guillain-Barré syndrome. Ooh. I dreamed/hallucinated that my younger sister was dead, cut in half, and they were making me lay on her severed body. Whoa, that is so fucked up. Oh my gosh. Dude, just have that image of your... Actually, no, don't have that image in your head. That's just... Oh, that'll probably mess some people up. When I woke up, the first thing I asked was how she died, and everyone looked at me like I was crazy. Yeah, when you tell somebody that somebody cut your sister in half and you were laying on her dead body, yeah, you're gonna get some looks like that, man. There were actually many times I believe they put a random dead body in my bed. Another one I had was about the nurses encasing me in concrete. I was paralyzed, so that's just how my brain processed it. I was aware of people talking to me and being with me. I just couldn't communicate, and my brain processed everything in this weird dream world. Okay, note to self, I don't know if you can say this on your medical file if anything happens to you, but if there's an alternative to a fentanyl drip, yeah, I'm taking that. I'm not having any fucked up dreams while I can't even move. Oh my gosh. I had meningitis when I was 12, which got misdiagnosed for stomach flu and ended up with me being taken to the hospital last minute. Ugh. That's fucked. The last memory I had was falling asleep, watching the emergency news on the Brussels airport attack. I later on had a sort of fever dream, which ended up to be true, about my parents driving me to the ER saying, "It's okay," over and over again. I couldn't move or talk, so it seemed more like a dream than something that was actually happening. I saw the lights of the ER parking lot, which made me close my eyes, and after that, it was like taking a nap. I had no awareness of time at all. It's like going to sleep and just waking up to what feels like seconds later, but it's actually morning already. I woke up 6 days later, highly drugged, but only gained consciousness the day after. My first memory after waking up was opening my laptop in the hospital bed to play Minecraft. I have no idea what happened or what I said when I woke up before that. Wakes up from coma, shrugs and starts with Minecraft. Those diamonds won't mind themselves. Yeah, that's true, man. You gotta keep the world running. I can only compare it to when you're little and wake up at a friend's house and don't know where you are. I don't think that's ever happened to me, but alright, we'll roll with it. I was in a coma for 2 months after a bad car accident. It wasn't medically induced, it was thanks to brain damage. When I woke up, I was alone in the hospital room and had no clue what happened to me or why I was there. I had a neck brace on due to a broken neck, so I figured something was wrong with my neck, but was unsure how or what happened. For some reason, I thought I was 60 years old. I was in my 20s. Yeah, that's a few decades too high. I was paranoid and scared, but didn't know why I was there. I used context clues to figure out I was in the hospital. It was frightening. After about 5 minutes, I decided to go back to sleep. 2 months of sleep wasn't quite long enough. Oh, imagine being me. Wake up from a coma. No, I haven't slept enough. I'm going back to sleep. Fuck this life. I wasn't in one for long, just under a week. Oh, a week's not long enough? Ugh. While I was in a coma, I didn't remember a thing. When I came out of it, I just remember hearing my mom yell to the attending, "He's up!" Then I woke up with a bunch of white coats in the room. I was super stiff and incredibly confused. Oddly enough, I kept having vivid dreams of myself in the coma after the fact. Still have them to this day. They're almost like an out-of-body experience because I can see myself laying in the bed with people around me. Huh, okay. Like, I have to actually look into that. Do people actually still have, like, dreams of themselves in the coma after they get up? If so, I don't know if that could be a good or a bad thing? I don't know. I imagine it's not a good thing, but yeah, I'll have to look into that. This is so interesting to read everyone's experience. I'm an ICU nurse, and I work with patients in comas all the time. I talk to them, I let them know why I'm touching them, whether it be to give them medication, draw lab work, bathe them, clean them after an incontinent episode. I'll also reorient them to where, why, and how they're in that situation. I also tell them when their loved ones call to check on them. I would feel awful knowing someone I took care of had flashbacks of feeling violated during the coma. I do the same, although I'm a hospice nurse, so when they get to that stage, they're not likely to wake up again. But I talk to them all, tell them exactly what we're doing and why. I treat all patients with equal dignity, whether conscious, unconscious, or after they've died. I still talk to them after they've died in the same way I speak to them when they're alive. Edit. Oh wow, thank you so much everyone for the kind words and rewards. I did not expect anything at all. I don't see what I do as a job. It feels like it's what I was born to do. I honestly love my job, which sounds strange for working in the hospice. But all of the staff there are like family, and we try to make the atmosphere there as positive and calm as possible. It's honestly an honor to spend such precious moments with people in the final stages of their life and their loved ones. It's something I definitely don't do for the money. It's a job that takes part of you to do. You give a little piece of yourself to everyone you care for, and I treat everyone with the care and dignity I would expect one of my own family members to have if they were in that situation. Thank you again, everyone. See, and you people are the perfect people for the job. Because if I were in that situation, I would hope to get people like you taking care of me. That is awesome.